It's the Magic Untapped Podcast on MagicUntapped.com, YouTube, and your favorite source for podcasts. Hey there, Magic players. Barry White from Magic Untapped and the Magic Untapped Podcast. With me is Evan Simon, one of the writers here on Magic Untapped. Evan, how are you doing this month?
I am very hot here in California. It's not just because of the wildfires. How are you?
You know, up here in Northern California, it's actually pretty nice. I think honestly it was like 82 degrees today, which is almost unheard of for mid-July. It's absolutely wonderful today.
All right.
And you know what else is wonderful? We have a Patreon subscriber, Lino Hernandez, been supporting us for a while now. Just want to say thank you very much. And if you want to be a Patreon subscriber, you can toss $1 in our tip jar, or for $5, we can give you a little shout out like we did for our buddy Lino there. So moving on from that to items of business, we have a brand new standard legal set coming out a week from today called Dungeons and Dragons Adventure in the Forgotten Realms. Again, this is Dungeons and Dragons the Magic the Gathering set. Are you excited about this, Evan?
I looked through everything. I'm excited for most of it.
I mean, the flavor alone, I think they did a pretty good job at, I know they're both in-house products, but different teams. I think they did a pretty good job at combining the D&D feel and the D&D theming and flavor into the Magic the Gathering card game.
They did, and just some of the mechanics that they're trying to introduce there, a lot of them work, but there's one I don't think will work there, and I'm scared.
It's not the dice rolling, is it? I'm excited to roll some bones during
Oh,
Magic.
no. Dice, it's always been an unofficial part of Magic, counters, everything like that, so it's just natural. I'm talking about dungeons, and it might be a little controversial.
Would you mind venturing into that topic there, Evan?
Aha! Well, generally, Magic really hasn't gone off a dungeon system before. So they're trying to put that in there, make it kind of like D&D, which I do appreciate, the theming of the set, everything like that. But I did a dry run of actually one of the cards on there yesterday. It just wasn't working. I know they probably tested this to the max, but I'm worried.
Well, I've been playing it a bit on Arena during that midweek thing we just had on Arena. We were able to test out a bunch of future precon decks, and one of those was a venturing into the dungeon deck. And even though it played a little slower than some decks, I would say that the mechanic overall seems to work. There's plenty of triggers for it. Things seem to be adequately costed. My only complaint is that they only made 3 dungeons. I think that really limits your choices, and it gets stale pretty quick. I mean, after a couple playthroughs, I was kind of dungeoned out. I'll be completely honest with you. They should have made 4, 5, or 6 dungeons, or maybe they would come out with some new dungeon cards in the commander decks, but they didn't do that. So I don't know why they stopped at 3. It's not enough.
You're right. And you played D&D campaigns before, correct?
I literally played a one-off D&D campaign last Sunday.
Okay. So just do it once you kind of already done it, you're getting at. It needs some more variance. Maybe over time, if they keep introducing it, they'll have a lot of variance there. But
well, maybe if they do Magic the Gathering D&D Thaco edition, we can add a few more dungeons and also a scientific calculator into the game.
Yeah, or base it off of a cold land, like a forest land. Just keep changing it up there. Maybe that can work. But they needed more than 3. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Introducing this 5 probably wouldn't be good. 1 for each color.
but maybe if they do come back and we do a Ravenloft themed set or a Dragonlance themed set at some point in the future, maybe that's why they only did 3. They don't want to overwhelm us all now, and then all of a sudden another 6 to 12, and then another 6 to 12. So it could just simply be strength and moderation, I guess. But I still wish there was at least 1 more.
Right. I mean, leagues, they only put in a few expansion teams at a time. When they put in 10 at a time, it never works.
Yeah. Now, are there any cards or mechanics well, we already talked a little bit about the venture mechanic, not being excited for that, but are there any cards you're excited about for any reason, Evan?
I like the design of the cards, the hand-drawn designs in some of them. Magic has never seen it to that extent before. I mean, you know, most of them are hand-drawn now, like have always been hand-drawn, but like to like
or computer drawn, but I know what you mean.
So like the pencil kind of like art style, it looks amazing, honestly.
Yeah, I got a couple singles I want to point out here. We got an enchantment called Cleric Class, which is part of an entire cycle of enchantments that add the D&D player classes, character classes into the game. Cleric Class is one that I've been on the wrong end of a few times since Adventures in Forgotten Realms, AFR, has come out on Arena. And Cleric Class is a 1 white enchantment that says if you would gain a life, you gain that much life plus 1. But then you can level it up, and whenever you gain life, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on a creature you control. And if you level it up a final time, you get to return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Then you gain life equals to its toughness. And you can have multiple of these things out, and they can have each one at a different level if you so choose. And it's really kind of tough. There's other ones as well. There's a wizard class and ranger class and whatnot, but cleric class is the class head of the class, I guess. Yeah, head of the class. I would have to say. Although there is one other card I do want to point out, and I love this just for the flavor. When I was a big fan of Baldur's Gate, specifically the game Baldur's Gate 2, and in that we have Minsk. In the card game, Minsk Beloved Ranger. Now, in the video game, I always thought he was more of a barbarian, berserker type, but Minsk Beloved Ranger, and he comes with his best friend, the tiny hamster, Boo.
Go for the eyes, Boo! Go for the eyes!
You're right. That's a new creature type. There's like, what, 5 new ones or something this time around?
Something around there, but yeah, hamster. We now have hamsters is an iconic Magic the Gathering creature type.
Yeah,
hamster tribal any day now.
Yeah, we also have gnolls, bards, beholders, and I think halflings, right?
Yeah, and the folks over at Wizards just did a big creature type update. They added the ranger and the bard creature types to a number of previously printed creatures, like elvish bard, stuff like that. So that is happening.
Big expansion, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised that we didn't have bard already as a character class, or using D&D terms, a creature type 20 years ago. But one thing that is already happened with this set, which, by the way, this set's not even out on paper yet, pre-release this weekend, actual release in paper next weekend, but the card Book of Exalted Deeds has already been banned, at least on Arena for the standard 2022 format. Yeah, you laugh, but if you look at this card, 3 white legendary artifact at the beginning of your end step. If you gain 3 or more life this turn, create a 3/3 white angel creature token with flying. Okay, well, whatever. It's the latter half. 3 white, tap, exile the book. Put an enlightened counter on target angel. It gains, you cannot lose the game, and your opponent cannot win the game. Activate as a sorcery, whatever, it's a sorcery. The problem is people are putting this enlightened token on Faceless Haven, which is a land. How? When the land is animated, turns into a creature, which is its own ability. It has all creature types.
Oh boy.
That includes angel. So you make it a creature, you exile the book, put the counter on it, and all of a sudden you have, by the time your turn ends, a creature that's not a creature anymore, but still has that your opponent cannot win the game ability now stapled onto it. And that became a problem very, very fast.
Do you think like they didn't see this during play testing, like initially, and they're like, okay, let's bring out this card, but someone figured it out?
You know what's Faceless Haven is kind of an unassuming card. It does see play, and it saw play before this, but it's that all creature types, that kind of changeling type of asterisk that I think might have gotten a little overlooked. Or maybe they thought there'd be answers, Stone Rain or something, destroy
Right.
target land. But apparently those answers were far outweighed by its existence, the combo's existence overall. So at least for standard 2022, which is kind of like standard version 2, it's what standard is going to go into, and you can already play it on Arena. Gone. Can't do that anymore.
Here's this new card, you can't play it.
Yeah, kind of. Pretty much. But since you mentioned cards that you can and can't play, I want to switch over here, talk a little bit about EDH. Now, Evan, who was your first ever commander in Commander?
I played 2013 Commander with one of the pre-constructed decks. I remember that was my first one. I went green. I think it was green, white, red. I think that was the one they had there that I played. Marith, Will of the Wild, Nature of the Beast. I played that one. I remember that pre-constructed deck.
Oh yeah, that's the one with the lady with her face sticking through some flowers, right?
Yep, remember that?
Yes, Mail the Anima with Marith, Will of the Wild.
That's kind of why I chose it.
Okay, just you like the art. Do you still have the deck? I'm guessing not.
No, I still have it. It's just back home in Ohio right now. I bring it out here.
Oh, okay. So it's still out in Ohio.
I
Went back to Ohio.
All
All your Magic cards were gone. Hey ho, where'd you go, Ohio? You gotta bring that stuff out here to Cali.
I brought most of it out to Cali. I just forgot a few of them, and I was actually looking for that last night and couldn't find it. So it must still be in Ohio.
It's got to still be there. It's got to still be there. My first was Mariki Rebere, which is a card from Ice Age, and she's a 3-drop, white, blue, and black. 1/1 does not untap during your untap phase, and her ability is tap, gain control of target creature. If you lose control of that creature if you lose control of Mariki Rebere, or if Mariki Rebere leaves play, or untapped, you bury that creature. And what's kind of cool is I can take my opponent's creatures. In this deck, I have some untapped tech like Puppet Strings and Mind Over Matter, so I can then untap Marika Rebere to kill off the creature I stole and steal another creature. I have other cards in there like City of Shadows and Phyrexian Vault, where I can sacrifice a creature that I stole and get some value of it that way, especially if they're about to get rid of Mariki or something like that. And aside from her, I also have a few other creature stealing options, like the OG Control Magic card, Preacher from the Dark, not Preacher Lost in the Comedian, although that would be fun. It's a fun deck, but it's really, I mean, I still own it. I barely play it. It's a very slow deck, and it's not fun to play until it is fun to play, and half the time I don't get that far. People see what I'm doing, and they kind of take me out pretty quick. So I'm actually thinking about taking that apart and building a Grist deck, that new Planeswalker from Modern Horizons 2, and comboing it with an artifact from Saviors of Kamigawa called Ashes of the Fallen. Because Grist cares about insects, and Ashes of the Fallen, I can make every creature in my graveyard the insect creature type. So that's something I'm toying with doing.
Usually what I do is I try to have a card that spawns in green creatures a lot. So I just hit hard early, keep spawning them in. Hopefully they'll overcome and beat out the 20. But that's usually my strategy and things.
But yeah, so that's. I guess those are our first commander. What's your favorite commander right now? Are you playing commander at the moment? Or are you taking a break?
I'm taking a break. I'm just I just like opening up packs right now at this point.
Gotta crack those packs.
No, I've been opening up older ones now too recently, just see what's in them, and it's been pretty neat. Like Return of Childhood almost.
Cracking open packs, a lot of fun, not a very sound investment strategy, however, because
Nope.
in those packs, you can never tell which cards are the winners or the losers.
Aha.
It's called a segue, Evan. Anyway, this is where we talk about the top three gaining and losing cards value-wise in Magic the Gathering over the past week. And looking at the winners first, we have in third place the uncommon from Double Masters, Oval Chase Daredevil. It went from 66 cents to $2.09. Not a big dollar amount, but it did go up about 217%. Then we have Notions Thief from Dragon Maze going from $1.84 to $6.10. That's a jump of 232%. And then in first place, we have Notion Thief, but the Masters 25 version, which went from $2.02 to $8.25, a jump of 308%. Evan, what strikes you about these?
Well, there were two it was Notion Thief twice, so
I'll let you know right now, Notion Thief was also the number 4 card, but we don't talk about the number 4 card.
How many times was it reprinted?
At least 3 times.
Yeah, so it's definitely the prices are definitely gearing up for the next release. And that's on the 23rd this month. So,
well, I'm sure you saw the news from getting back to Commander for a second that Hullbreacher just got banned in Commander, and people are kind of I think that's what this is, because they're talking about Notion Thief being the replacement for Hullbreacher, and I think it's drumming up the the demand and the buzz for the card as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a super expensive card too, even with the higher prices. So
very reasonable.
Yeah.
And then Oval Chase Daredevil, it has some artifact synergy. I noticed it was only the Double Masters version went up. The Kaladesh version is still the normal price. So I don't know if this is abhorrent or if people just have not gotten to the Kaladesh one yet. But with all the treasures coming out in Forgotten Realms, I'm wondering if like you said, it's a response to the set about to come out on that. But even then, it only went up with $1.40, $1.50. So
not bad in the overall scheme of things, but if you look at the percentage, it's quite high.
Right. Now, speaking of some losers now, spoiler alert, all 3 of these cards are from Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. In fact, if you look at the list, and we get this information from MTG Stocks, a lot of the losers are from Adventures in Forgotten Realms. And Evan, you and I always agree every time we see this, especially as a set either is about to come out or just came out, it's the market responding and things just smoothing out.
Yep, you get a flood of new cards in. They're expecting a flood of all these cards coming in, so prices are going to go down. It's basic law of supply and demand working here.
Right, exactly. And of these cards, our third place losing card was Sorcerer Class, which is one of those Class C cards from AFR. Went from 7.25 down to 240, which is a loss of about 67%. The legendary creature Volo, Guide to Monsters, went from almost $10 to just over $3, which is a loss of 68%. And we also have, topping the list of losers for this time period, Nadar, Selfless Paladin, went from $6.53 to $2.03, which is a drop of 69%. So 67, 68, and 69, dude.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens with these prices, because as more people play this and figure out new strategies and things, the cards are going to be good. Like it always happens, they're going to go higher in price than the others. And you can tell which ones are going to be the best ones for certain things, and that'll be very interesting to see. It always is.
Yeah. And Nadar actually surprised me a little bit when I saw it topping this list, because I had just played that dungeon pre-constructed deck on Arena, and Nadar kind of was one of the stars of that deck because of its venture trigger for ETB and attacking. So it might hold here at 2. It might creep up maybe to $2.50, $3, but it kind of depends on not just the viability of the dungeon decks, but also what color or color combinations tend to be the most effective. And granted, we know that a little bit, and people are starting to figure it out a little bit on Arena, but once even more people get to play with it on paper, it'll be interesting to see what happens with that card, with Nadar, Selfless Paladin.
Can't wait.
Yeah. And Evan, I think it kind of brings us up to the end of this podcast. No guests this month. We hope to have a guest again next month, but I think we all learned a valuable lesson today. What do you think, Evan?
I would agree with you, but I don't know what that lesson is.
I have no idea what the lesson is either, but it's valuable. It's very valuable. Anyway,
Yes,
I'm Barry White. I'm Barry White here on the Magic Untapped Podcast, magicuntap.com. Our co-host here, Evan Simon, also for Magic Untapped, magicuntap.com. And thank you very much for listening. And on YouTube, thank you very much for watching. Everybody, have a great month.
Goodbye.